I always knew my mother was weird because everyone would say, "Your mom's weird." But in a good way. In my early years, that really bothered me because I really liked my mom just the way she was. After my mom died, I found a box that contained 10 Paris theater programs signed by Edith Piaf and a small green cast iron dinky toy of a John Deere tractor in the same box. That is when I realized my mom had guts. Guts to try to meld her two worlds together. Antoinette Marie Cornelius was 26 when she left her small, beautiful, war-torn country of Belgium. Full of castles and beer and her family, she left to come to Canada as a Belgian war bride to a Canadian soldier. She said it was his uniform first, then his mustache that caught her eye. In the dance hall, along with his brown curly hair and his twinkly blue eyes. James Edwards spoke no Flemish, and Antoinette spoke no English. But as we know, the language of love can often break down barriers. The two were married in 1946 after they met. My dad was sent home when Belgium was liberated. But my mom had to wait for the Canadian government to give permission for the brides to come to Canada. She traveled for 22 days on the rough Atlantic winter seas in a refurbished hospital boat, and then she arrived in Halifax, only to be shuffled onto a train to travel for 6 more days, seeing the same scenery over and over and over again, until she arrived in northern Saskatchewan in the winter. Jimmy, her Canadian husband, was there to meet her with his mustache, his mother, and his John Deere tractor. A year later, they would move to the Kootenai town of Trail, and that is where my life began. My mother always had a lot of trouble with the language, but she was determined to just speak English and let her other language go. She would always get her letters mixed up. G's were mixed up for J's, S's were mixed up with C's. I's and E's were very, very confusing to her, especially when she was writing. My mom was known to wander the town, trying to refill pickle jars and jam jars, looking for farmers' markets for eggs and meat, but few understood what she was trying to say. But she always said hello to everyone. People did recall that she referred to my dad as her big cowboy. I think she'd started to watch The Rifleman. But I think my mom was secretly wanted to be a singing star. I would watch her dance around the kitchen doing an amazing rendition of Edith Piaf's La Vie, l'Amour, all the while twirling her skirts and lifting her apron with a faraway look in her eye. Then the record would stop, a new one would drop, and she'd stamp her feet, smack her thighs, and yo-la-la-hee-hoo! It was Jimmy Rogers all of a sudden. Maybe she was weird. But my mom and I had secrets. We ate raw eggs. She would beat them up in a bowl, add a tiny pinch of sugar, make finger toast, and we would dip and talk. We did this behind my dad's back. We never let him know, because he would make barfing noises if he caught us. I never knew I grew up with Belgian fries. I didn't know French fries came in bags. I just knew that they were pomme de frites to me. And I also knew that the Safeway man was very weak, because my mother always told me he doesn't have any muscles. Even though I longed for any kind of store-bought dress from Kresge's or Woolworths, I had the most amazing outfits. I would see something in my teen magazine, and soon it was waiting on my bed when I got home from school. Hand-sewn with pockets. My mom always added pockets. People wondered why we had a little statue in our living room of a gold naked boy peeing. But I knew it was the mannequin piss. He'd put out the fire in Brussels. Weird, maybe? What may have seemed weird to some was guts to me. My mom started a new life in a new country while trying to hang on to a small part of what she left behind. She was determined to learn the language, be a loving support to her husband, raise her kids, and be part of the community. And when I decided to go into psychiatric nurses training, my mom was so proud of me. She told everyone, "Janice, my daughter is going to be a psychedelic nurse." Well, it was the 70s. And when it came time for me to leave my Kootenai home for the first time and move 500 miles away to live in nurses' residence on the grounds of a mental institution, I thought, what the heck? But I was lonely, and then I got that first letter from home, and it read, "Dear Janice, you are gone. We miss you." Your dad is at work, your big brother's at school, and your little brother's on the toilet taking a sheet. So maybe my mom seemed weird to some, but I think she had guts. Guts to keep her faraway country of Belgium in her life while she raised her kids with her big Canadian cowboy. Thank you.